ladies and gentlemen, Box to Box Football, Jack, James, I'm going to kind of get right into it. But first of all, I do want to ask you to kindly subscribe. James and I recently hit the milestone of 800 subscribers, which we're very, very proud of and really grateful to all you guys for supporting us. Those of you who might just get our videos because of the algorithm and all that stuff, just scroll down, double check, just make sure you are subscribed. We'd really appreciate it. Drop a like on the video. And also, I think James and I are going to have a really, really interesting discussion right now. So we want to hear your comments. We want you guys to sound off on what you think here, because this topic, you can see the description. This is complicated. This is not easy. This is not just a quick fix, A or B type thing. This is a complex issue. And James, the issue is Erling Haaland. And well, what issue? 25 goals in 20 appearances, 3 assists. Jack, you're crazy. James, you're crazy. He's not an issue. He's already eclipsed the tally from last year, the record from last year, and he's going to break all the records this year. He can't be the problem, can he? It's not his issue, surely. Well, guys, look, I want to just have kind of an open forum discussion here. I don't necessarily know the details in which James is going to go for this one, and I don't know how I'm going to feel about it at the end, but I'm going to read you some statistics or just give you some information, and then I think we're just going to talk this out and see what happens. So I've said it already, Erling Haaland, 20 appearances, 25 goals, 3 assists. It's insane, guys. It's insane in terms of a goal threat. On this channel, though, James and I have both said, yeah, but we're not blown away by the eye test, what we're actually seeing. There's lots of impressive goal scoring, right position, right time. And guys, Erling Haaland is an elite striker, an elite guy just in general. Nobody's doubting that. Nobody's doubting that. And the goal return, I mean, that kind of tells you it all, doesn't it? Today's game, though, 0 touches in the opposition box, 0 shots as well. That's kind of scary. And Jamie Carragher on Sky Sports pointed this out. Last season, the 2022 season ending in 2022, Manchester City, after 21 game weeks, had 53 goals, had 13 goals against, and had a total of 53 points. This time round, 2023, we're in now, goals for 53. That's the exact same number. It's crazy how that stuff works. That is the exact same number. Goals against, they've conceded 8 more goals, going from 13 to 21. That's a pretty big jump comparatively to last season. And obviously the all-important one, we've gone from 45 points to what they're on now. They were on 53 points, James, before. So let me ask you, Manchester City, Erling Haaland's getting all these goals, that's fine. The team isn't scoring more goals because it's the exact same number as they were on before, and they're conceding more as well. So let me ask you, is Erling Haaland kind of the problem here? Or is that too easy of a thing to say? Who kind of gets the blame? Because, James, Man City, it should be stainless, top tier reputation each and every time. I know I've been talking a long time, so James, go.
I don't think Erling Haaland's the problem. I think Manchester City is a problem, Jack. I look at, if I'm a striker and my team has 70% possession, I would like it, cool. But with all that possession, you got to play the ball into me. Yeah? The one thing I've noticed from this talk that, are Manchester City better off without Erling Haaland, is that the fact that in nowadays, football people, or football in general, media, just people who discuss, don't like number 9s. When number 9 comes in, they just, listen, like Darwin Núñez with Liverpool. Liverpool were better off when they had the link player. Man City were better off when they had the link folded in. It's to me, it's because of the way the game has gone in. Like, you want this flexible number 9 who doesn't really get into the box, links play, all that sort of stuff. No, I grew up with traditional number 9s. Erling Haaland is a traditional number 9. So get to know. Listen, the most important thing for you to win games, the thing that wins you games is scoring goals and getting the ball into your striker. For all the possession Manchester City have, Jack, I'm sorry, they don't look to play in Erling Haaland, and rather that's over the top or into feet. Yeah, Jack, there was a few times where Erling Haaland drops into space. Now, in my opinion, him dropping into a hole, he's useless in there. useless because I don't think he has the ability over R9, over Thierry Henry to turn and just go at people and just be ferocious. You do. I don't think he has that sort of. I don't think he has that sort of ability. But Jack, what he does have is to frighten people. And when he does drop into space, there's going to be a gap in between. And you know and I know we've seen him do it on a number of occasions when that ball goes in there, against a defender one-on-one. How many times have you seen Erling Haaland shrug off defenders, go through on goal and score? They don't do it enough. Yeah, right. Manchester City, they work the ball in and around, try to get to the try to get to the side. Jack Grealish, Riyad Mahrez. Can we play down the line? Can we flash the ball into the box? Sometimes can we change it up? And this is crazy because this is coming from a Guardiola team. Yeah, a team who has so many variety of ways to attack a team. And I think with a player like Erling Haaland, that could have been another asset, another weapon for them to be more effective. But it just feels right now that they're bypassing him on so many occasions. Jack, they have 70% of the ball. There's no reason why Erling Haaland shouldn't have 20, 30, 40 touches of the ball. And not just like in stupid areas. I'm talking in and around the area because that's where he wants it.
Right.
Yeah. I in my opinion, I don't think he's great with his back towards goal. Something that he needs to improve on. But as a player, he needs to probably speak to whoever and say, listen, I want that ball into me. The one time that he seemed to get that ball into him was when Kevin De Bruyne came on the field, because him and Kevin De Bruyne have this kind of understanding. We've seen it in the first game against West Ham. But
De Bruyne has that with everybody, though.
Yeah, that's true. But to me, it needs to be a demand from the manager to say to the players, find him. Rio Ferdinand talked about this thing with Robin van Persie when he first joined Manchester United, where he gathered Carrick, Paul Scholes, Rooney, Ferdinand, whoever in there, and showed them numbers of different runs Van Persie was making off the shoulder. And you know what he said to them players? This guy makes runs. If you guys can't find him, I'm going to get you off. I'm going to find him. And I don't think Guardiola is demanding that from his players right now. Yeah, because Jack, with all that possession, I'm sorry, are you trying to tell me that I can't hit my player up front? And not just Jack possession. We're talking about the quality of player. Bernardo Silva, Gundogan, Rodri in there, Jack Grealish. Can you not hit him as quick as possible? Erling Haaland isn't a guy that likes to wait 1, 2, 3. Jack, he wants it straight away. Yeah. He wants it as early as possible for him to attack, for him to go on to. I don't think he enjoys crosses as much. I think he loves balls into space, balls over the top. That's where, for me, I believe that he has his most joy. In Man City, I'm playing to his strengths. So you can miss me with the fact that, he's a big clog and everything like that. No, he's being a number 9. And the fact of the matter is, Manchester City, I'm playing to a number 9 strengths.
And but also, anybody who wants to be critical of Erling Haaland's game, he's doing what he's been asked to do at the highest level possible. He has 25 goals in 20 appearances. He's been signed to come in and finish chances that these creative players are going to create for him. That's exactly what he's doing, right? That is exactly what he's doing. The broader question, though, is how damaging potentially it is for the rest of the team. Because, James, I look at it as, okay, they've got the same number of goals as they did at this point last season. I checked the rule book. Other players can score goals too if they want. Second place is Phil Foden. Now, again, Phil Foden's a nice player, but I'm looking at a guy with 13 appearances, 5 off the bench. He's their second highest scorer, and he's just over half starting appearances for this team. Then you've got Julian Alvarez, 5 starts with 4 goals, with Riyad Mahrez, 10 starts with 4 goals. There isn't really another goal contributor here. Erling Haaland will have hat-trick days, he will have 4-goal games, he will have braces every other game, and he'll score at least a goal a game. But on a game like today, where they needed somebody else to step up to be a goal threat from a set piece, from whatever, where were the other Manchester City players contributing these goals? Because I don't see anybody. He's so relied upon as a goal threat this season that, God forbid, if he were to get hurt, I don't know where the goals would necessarily be coming from.
Jack, another thing that I want to look at is Guardiola being a defensive coach. And you might think, James, What are you talking about? Guardiola being a defensive coach? That's mad. They have the ball and this and that. But that's the point. The way Guardiola defends is to have the ball. And nowadays, if they keep the ball and don't play that extra pass or whatever, get there, nick their one goal and just keep the ball, the straight teams. Jack, how many times you watch Manchester City games where they've kept the ball for 70% of the time, they got their goal, and then they're just frustrating the opposition, come out and come out and come out. Maybe it's got to a point where it's become this boring way of playing, and we want to see this old Manchester City where it's free-flowing. You got your wingers flying, these fast wingers flying. Right? You got Aguero in there. It's not like that anymore. No. I think maybe Guardiola's moved to try to be a bit more pragmatic, like with the way he plays, and grind out games, but grind out games and not in a Sam Allardyce way or even like Sir Alex Ferguson way, in a possession-based way. While we get our goal, and then we just frustrate the opposition. If we can nick a second one, we try and do that.
Well, you and I both know this. You probably a hell of a lot better than me. There is that, Guardiola does this a lot. There's that U shape, isn't there? They're in possession, but they've got this U shape. And again, some people might think, well, why? That's weird. Why are they doing that? It's because when you lose the ball, where are you going as the opposition? Where are you going? Because there's this U around you, which they play around beautifully. But then the moment you want to break out, unless you're just hoofing it up the pitch, you can't play through lines because there's 11 players in your half waiting to counter-press you the moment they lose the ball. So like you say, 100%. You're in possession and you're attacking, kind of, but not really. It's kind of if we're being honest, it's kind of a defensive strategy. My question for you, though, James, I guess, is, obviously we're all geniuses after the fact, right? Do you look back on the signing of Erling Haaland, and obviously you have to deem it a success in terms of goals contributed and all this kind of stuff, but in the overall makeup to Manchester City, would they have been better placed getting somebody else, or is it not that easy? Does Pep need to change? Do other players need to step up? And again, guys, don't get me wrong here at all. Man City are in this title race. Some people are still picking them to win the thing, right? But it's not the standards we're used to. They're let me make sure I've got this right. They're 8 points off where they were before. That's enough of a difference for you to kind of, after signing somebody like Erling Haaland, to be like, oh, hang on a minute, how's that happened?
I think it's down to the fact that maybe the player's not finding them. Because surely Guardiola will tell them, guys, can we play into the 9? Because the first point of Guardiola's attack, Jack, was always to play into the 9. Like when he had it with Messi. Like think about it, like when he had it with Lewandowski. Can we play it to the 9? Can we find the 9? Jack, how many times have you seen, starting from the goalkeeper, Ederson, his first point isn't to always play short. If he can hit the striker straight away, he can, like think about it, he will do it. We've seen it in the League Cup final against Arsenal. Guardiola's first point was to always find the number 9 as quick as possible. Maybe it's the players just not finding Erling Haaland. Because to me, it's not an issue of him. I don't think he's doing too much wrong. I think it's them and the players around them. Not maybe I can't say not used to playing in there, because they have been playing in there. Because Phil Foden dropped in there, they found him. Kevin De Bruyne dropped there, they found him. Maybe they're not willing to find Erling Haaland. Maybe it's the fact of also, Jack, trust in the point of view.
It's crazy to not have trust of a guy who's so effective. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. But like, it's so crazy. But for a guy to score over a goal a game, like, it's 28 goal contributions in 20 appearances. That's insane. It's crazy to not have the trust of the guy. And look, guys, part of the reason this was prompted is, I'm sure any of you who were watching Sky Sports today, you saw the conversation between Graham Souness, Micah Richards, and brought up by Jamie Carragher. We're seeing 60%, 70% of what Erling Haaland is. I've been saying this all season. The reason why I think Erling Haaland is still that guy, and the reason why I would still take him over the likes of a Kylian Mbappe, which I know James disagrees with.
We're going to have a conversation about that one.
We're going to have to. But it's because there is this 30-40% of the player, which we haven't seen in a while, because he's playing in a team that doesn't allow him to show that. But for what he's being asked to do, which is the whole fox in the box, get on the end of things, score 25 goals in 20 appearances, he's doing that job beautifully. Guys, this is a complex issue. Go ahead, James.
Also, you mentioned the goals, and of course, the goals he scores is amazing. But I also look at the fact that big games. How many big games is it contributing to? Because at the end of the day, when you play against certain teams, Jack, you're gonna blow out. You know, Manchester City have the capability of blowing out teams. I'm not saying Erling Haaland hasn't scored in all the big games, but a lot of times, okay, in the game against Liverpool, didn't deliver. At Anfield today, Tottenham didn't deliver. Stamford Bridge didn't deliver. Away at Old Trafford didn't deliver. That's 4 tough away games.
And for a guy who scores over a goal a game, it's more than likely that he should be scoring in these games, right? That's the whole idea. And again, I think you and I have talked about this the last time we were recording, just before our Champions League predictions. Like, how many of his goals are goals that turn draws into wins or losses into draws? That's what I want to know. That's the thing I'm most interested by. His hat-trick game at the thing, I only care about one of those goals, and that was the one that turns the draw into the win. How many times are Man City up, maybe courtesy of him, which again would contribute to that stat, but how many times have we seen him, when they're already in a winning position, be able to just score multiple goals? Because again, you and I, we got on to talking about Drogba. We got on to talking about Drogba, right? Drogba's never going to hit 25 goals in 20 appearances ever. It's not in his wheelhouse.
Well, like he did, Jack. He did do that.
But that kind of goal rate is not really his thing. But finals, Didier Drogba comes to life when it matters most. It's all about silverware, guys. That's the whole point. The Premier League trophy comes off winning games and points and putting the ball in the back of the net. James, I just wondered if there was any other part of this conversation you wanted to open up. I mean, Pep Guardiola, is there any issue there? We're seeing about Cancelo. I don't know if you saw when Bernardo Silva came off. I looked at the relationship there. There was rumours Bernardo Silva wanted to leave in January. What do you make of that?
I think the Bernardo Silva thing gone on in the summer. He was desperate to join Barcelona. It didn't happen. Manchester City wanted to take hold of him. I feel like with Guardiola, it might be a thing of just rehashing this thing again. Why players, to me, there needs to be more out there. I get it, Grealish had an all-right game today, but I don't think he's at the level to take Manchester City to where they want to be. Mahrez is playing out of his skin, and to me, he's been an underrated player. But you look at the middle right there, they might need somebody to come in next to Kevin De Bruyne, and maybe a Gundogan and Bernardo Silva have been there for a while. They might want to change it. But Jack, the biggest thing for me is just the lack of appreciation for number 9s nowadays, Jack. We don't seem to appreciate the art of a number 9. You know, right. A lot of people care about, does he link play? Does he press and all that sort of stuff? And and number 9 is just more than these little two links there. We were a part of a generation that had Edison Cavani, Karim Benzema, Luis Suarez,
Higuain,
Lewandowski, Aubameyang. And this is not them now. This was at their absolute pump. You had like 10. I mean, absolute. If you bring them in today's football at their best, though, they would be considered world class. They were all performing at that foul. Jack, even Radamel Falcao
before his knee.
How special, seriously, how special he was. But we grew up in an era where there was top level number 9s, and the first point of attack was to get the ball into them. Nowadays, with the lack of number 9s, the lack of quality number 9s, people want to play around that. And now, as soon as teams introduce number 9s again, it's an issue because teams maybe aren't as focused in playing into a number 9 and then playing off him as much. And I look at the same issue with Romelu Lukaku at Chelsea, where I felt that after a while they weren't playing into him as enough. Because Jack, I'm a number 9. The first thing I want to do is get the ball into me. I don't want to be feeding off crosses here and there. I want the ball into my feet where I can be effective in turn, go at a defender, or even, as I said, bring players into play. But it's just, to me, just that people don't seem to appreciate what a number 9 is, and it really, 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 it's becoming a dying art, you know.
And guys, for me anyway, I still hold the fact that, Erling Haaland in the right team, oof. And the thing is, he'd score less goals. If he went to a team that suited his skill set and things more. But he'd be more effective and impactful on football matches, and he'd be more of a problem for defenses. As crazy as that sounds, and everybody watching, I hope you're watching me and James because you try and have a little bit more of a nuanced opinion on football. It's not just the stats game, right? It's not just the what was the Opta stat for it, or what was his who scored rating, right? Or what did who did Graham Souness think played well? Like, we're trying here as much as we can to have a slightly more nuanced opinion on football. Erling Haaland and the goal return is great, but let us know in the comments. Do you agree with what me and James have been saying? Do you have a slightly different view? Is it, is Erling Haaland, to a certain extent, are they over reliant on him? Is he holding Man City back? Is it Pep's fault? Do the other players need to step up and start contributing goals? Guys, let us know. Until next time, we'll see you.